Okay, so I hereby call to order the City of West Hollywood Transgender Advisory Board meeting for Wednesday, November 8th, 2017. Member Nguyen, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call with staff.
James? Here. Leslie? Jake?
Here.
Alexis?
Here.
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 Oh, sorry, Lindsay.
Here.
Absent tonight is Coco.
Thank you. Can we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll motion to approve the agenda.
Motion by Member Nguyen, second by Member Dela Cruz. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes. Motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes?
I second.
We have a motion to approve by our Vice Chair and a second by Karina Samala. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes. We do not have any public comments at this time, so we will move on to member comments. Let's start with Member Nguyen.
Good evening. I'd like to welcome the community here to our Transgender Advisory Board televised meeting. And thank you very much for participating as part of Transgender Awareness Month. This month I attended a camp which was transgender men throughout the United States. We talked about issues regarding race and health of transgender men. I'd also like to congratulate all of our LGBT government officials that have now gained office, and especially our transgender brothers and sisters. I'd like to give a special shout out to a classmate and friend, Delegate Charnel Herring, who's the Virginia House Democratic Caucus Chair, for her endorsement of Danica Rome. And in closing, Bonnie, I'd like to adjourn our meeting in the names of our December 2016, so that we close out the year of 2016 deaths. These were victims of the fire: Cash Askew, 22 years old, M. Bohica, and Riley Fritz. They were all victims of the December 2nd, 2016 Oakland fire. In addition, we had a December 2016 transgender female death who was African American. Her name is Indira Monroe, age 29. And this month we had 2 additional transgender members murdered: Stephanie Monchez and Candace Towns. Thank you. I'll give this to you. Thank you.
Member Frias.
Hi everyone, thank you for being here. And we're gonna start celebrating Awareness Month, and I'm really happy today because we have a great news. I wanna congratulate Danica Rome, wins in Virginia. She's become a first openly transgender state in US history. And today is more than to celebrating. Hopefully in the future, California, the Golden State, we can have a transgender representing in United States. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Chair.
I'd like to thank the community members in attendance and have no further comment at this time.
Erica.
Yeah, hi everyone, my name is Erika de la Cruz, and I would like to invite all to Garras, which is Trans Latina Coalition annual fundraising event. Is going to be happening this Saturday from 7 p.m. to 10, and we're going to be at Double Tato Hotel downtown LA. The address is 120 South Los Angeles Street, Los Angeles, California 90012. If you need any more information, please check our website, www.translatinacoalition.org. Thank you.
Well, good evening, everyone. Also, it's been a very busy month for us. Our sister city, Los Angeles, is also celebrating the Transgender Awareness Month. We just had a big event on November 1st at LA City Hall with a proclamation from the city. And also, there is also right now the Transgender History at the Bridge Gallery. If you have time to visit the city, we have also the One Archives display panels of our transgender history. And thank you.
Member Deaton?
Hi, thanks everybody for being here tonight. I'd like to express gratitude for the City of West Hollywood's really meaningful, tangible support of the trans communities here. And I'd also like to express gratitude for the City of West Hollywood's Transgender Advisory Board for their meaningful and tangible support of the trans communities here. I'm very grateful for them. I want to congratulate Andrea Jenkins in Minneapolis for being the first trans person voted into City Council, and she's a trans woman of color. And so it's been a very exciting morning to wake up here in this country a year later. So thanks.
Trion?
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. I apologize for being a little bit late. So happy to be here with all of you tonight. Today truly is a historic day. And for me, today really made me reflect on the history of trans peoples all around the world throughout history. There was a time when trans people were revered, were actually seen as gifts to communities. And I think we're slowly moving back to that history. We're slowly seeing the value that trans people bring to the discussion, to communities, to the human race. And so today is truly a historic day, especially for our youth who get to wake up and see trans people integrated in our government. And so for me, I just feel so incredibly honored to be alive today and to get to see these changes happen. And one last little thing I want to say is that tomorrow we're having our Transgender Economic Empowerment Job and Resource Fair right across the way at the West Hollywood Auditorium. We have 53 employers coming to recruit trans people. So if you know somebody who's trans, all you people at home who know somebody who's trans who's looking for work, or anybody who wants to find an employer who is inclusive, please come to our job fair. It will be a wonderful event. So thank you.
Thank you. I just want to say how incredibly honored I am to be a part of this city. Thank you to the City of West Hollywood for their support of the trans community and all that they do to make sure that we are taken care of and included. I truly appreciate every effort that is made to include us in city governing and also as constituents in the community. Another note that I'd like to raise tonight is that in the lobby of City Council chambers today, there are the One Archives trans panels that member Karina spoke about earlier that are on display also in the city of Los Angeles. And it looks like after the elections, the trans panels now have to continue to grow to include our newly elected officials. So that's a good challenge to have. So moving on, unfinished business. Item number 8, Transgender Awareness Month. And I will open this up to all of my constituents here or my colleagues here, but I want to note the events that are happening throughout the month. The City of West Hollywood is committed to having a very vibrant Transgender Awareness Month, and there have been numerous events that have already passed, but the ones that remain are, as Member Drian mentioned, the TEEP Job Fair that is happening tomorrow at 11 a.m. Also tomorrow, also at 11 a.m., there's the Veterans Day celebration where there will be a trans or two trans service members speaking at that the Veterans Day celebration at the Veterans Memorial. On November 18th at 10 a.m. will be the Trans Wellness and Wellbeing Conference, which is something that's very near and dear to my heart. Currently, we have over 162 registrants for the Trans Wellness Conference. This is the largest conference that we've ever had, so I'm really excited about that. Trans Day of Remembrance will be November 20th at 6 p.m., and all of the events can be found at weho.org. So let's open it up to members. If there are any notes or comments about Trans Awareness Month, and we also have a couple of speakers that will be joining us to talk about some of the events as well. Is there anything from the members?
No.
Okay, so if, yes, yes.
Already put on what we have in the city of LA with regards to that one. So
Okay, you have to speak into the mic because they
both
won't
of I'm
hear
sorry.
you. Thank you.
Both events I already covered in my first speech.
Okay,
So
great, thank you. So Karen Ayers? Sure, Matt Gill.
All right, thank you. Good evening. My name is Matt Gill. I'm the manager of the West Hollywood Library. On December 7, as part of a nationwide program facilitated by the Human Rights Campaign Foundation, the library, we're hosting a reading of the children's book, I Am Jazz. And as the Human Rights Campaign Foundation describes the event, across the country, parents, educators, community, and faith leaders and students will come together to support transgender and non-binary youth. And we think with the support and sponsorship of the Transgender Advisory Board, our program can bring together our community, transgender, non-binary, and allies, and support of all of our community's youth. The library is a center for community and information, and we believe in and strive to be an inclusive and equitable resource for all of West Hollywood and all of Los Angeles County. So I appreciate your support in our efforts, and I hope you can sponsor the program on December 7. Thank you.
Thank you. Karen?
Hi, Karen Ayers. I'm chair of the Women's Advisory Board, but here today, I'm here as a resident of West Hollywood. I want to congratulate you on the kickoff of another Transgender Awareness Month. I think it's such an important event, and I am proud to live in a city that has an event like that and has a board like you reaching out to the whole entire transgender community. I'm here basically to support the I Am Jazz reading event. This is something that was created by the Human Rights Campaign a few years ago. It's a nationwide event, and I think that West Hollywood is the city to be taking part in an event like this. And just reaching out to children at a very young age to just teach them and show them that all identities are possible, and you don't have to be fearful for feeling a certain way, even if it's not congruous with the identity that's been assigned to you at birth. So I'm hoping that the Transgender Advisory Board considers signing on and supporting this event. If TAB supports this event, I would want the Women's Advisory Board to also support it. Me going to the Women's Advisory Board with that recommendation hinges on what you decide tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Any comments?
Yes, I do. Thank you both very much for presenting this opportunity. I am very well aware of this book, and if myself with a couple of organizations, in full disclosure, working with both HRC and the Trans Chorus of Los Angeles, presented readings of I Am Jazz at the center at Ed Gould Plaza. And Jessica Hurdle, who's the author, came up and read the book. And so I guess that would be one of my questions. Has Jessica been invited? Do you know? she lives in Anaheim, and so that might be something to consider. We could, so that would be something to, you know. And if you're looking for a motion of support, you know, I'd wholeheartedly make a motion to support this.
No, we're actually not. This is not an agendized item, so we cannot motion, but we can support as individuals and within our own communities as well.
If I may bring up, Chair, we could put it on the agenda. We do have a meeting on December 6th. And if I am correct, I am hearing that there is support. So basically, we could put it on the agenda and we could make the motion then to support it. We're not allowed to make a motion due to the fact it's a public comment, but I don't foresee us having any issues supporting the event.
Yeah.
Motion.
Would you like me to add it? I'm happy to put it.
Yes, I think we should go ahead and add it to the agenda for December, and then we can look at it then. It's one day before, but we can certainly
Better
do
late
what
than
we
never.
can to help out. Any other comments?
One more comment, sorry. If you would like to reach out to me as staff, and I can relay the information so they're prepared to sponsor. If you could just share with staff after the meeting or by email what you're asking for, that would help and I'll inform them. Thank you.
Jay, I would like to make a quick comment. I just want to say this is so incredible. You know, when I do trainings and talk about my experience about growing up as a kid who never saw trans people, who never heard the language of trans people, who never learned anything about trans people, and to see that young kids are growing up with this information and connections to communities, it's profound. So thank you so much for doing this and for starting to change the history. Thank you.
Awesome. So moving on to new business, the community awards, which is always my favorite part of the televised meeting.
Our
Is
favorite part.
honoring amazing work within the trans community, individuals, organizations that have contributed to our growth and sustainability is always something that is amazing. So I'm just waiting for a note from staff to say who we will be starting with, but I believe it most likely will be the One Archives. So I'm just going to say that it's the One Archives.
Okay.
So Karina, would you please?
Yeah. I would like to. I'd be honored to. Okay. One Archives Foundation was founded in 1952. It's the oldest active LGBT organization in the United States. In 2010, One Archives Foundation extensive archival collection became a part of USC libraries, ensuring the continued preservation and accessibility of over 3 million archival items, including periodicals, books, films, video, and audio recordings, photographs, artwork, and organizational records and personal papers. The archive serves as a critical source to scholars, historians, artists, policymakers, and general public to provide important insights into the struggles, achievements, and experiences of LGBTQ communities in helping provide information to continue toward a more just and equitable future. As a community partner, One Archives Foundation presents the support projects, programs, exhibitions, and education to provide public access to the collection and share of LGBTQ experience with diverse community worldwide. I'd like to thank you also for the extensive research about the transgender history and the panelists that you have created for ours. Thank you.
Before we move on, I just want to say one thing about the One Archives. One thing about the One Archives. I had the honor of working with the One Archives on the trans panels, and I can only say that from the bottom of my heart, I genuinely thank you for your tireless effort, endless phone calls and emails, and barrage of text messages that were sent to really create something so powerful, so beautiful, that will have truly a lasting impact on our community and the world that we live in, such that folks might get to know who the trans community is in a very meaningful, powerful, and beautiful way. So from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you. The One Archives, everyone.
Yay.
Well, we are very excited to be with you here today, especially after the history that we made yesterday. I mean, it was incredible, as you mentioned at the beginning of tonight's meeting, to wake up to the amazing news that we won from coast to coast and in the middle of the country. I mean, we have a lot to be proud of, and we're deeply honored to receive the Community Award from the City of West Hollywood's Transgender Advisory Board. It's an honor we're truly grateful for. As mentioned, I'm Jennifer Gregg. I'm the Executive Director of the One Archives Foundation, and we are the oldest continuously operating LGBTQ organization in the country, founded in 1952. We deposited our collection to the University of Southern California in 2010, and today we are the independent community partner. We uplift the collection and tell the stories of our community through our educational programs and our educational resources, like our transgender history panels, which we're presenting and unveiling tonight. We consider ourselves a repository of resistance. We consider archiving an act of activism and advocacy. We think it's truly important and valuable to maintain our community's history. And I'm grateful to the team of the One Archives Foundation, because just like we can't present our history without the support of the community, I can't do the work of the One Archives Foundation without the support of our team. And with me here tonight is our community engagement and program coordinator, Eric Adamian, who was really in charge in creating the History Panel project. And he works to do outreach in our community for education and advocacy resources. I'd like to introduce Eric.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having us and for presenting us with the Community Award tonight. So I started working at the One Archives Foundation about a year ago, and I was immediately drawn to and inspired by its educational initiatives. After all, while preservation of LGBTQ history is critical, it is through spreading the word about LGBTQ history and culture and providing educational resources to all communities that change and progress happens. Part of One Archives Foundation's educational initiatives is our History Panels project. The History Panels of the One Archives Foundation build upon One Archives' long legacy of providing innovative educational tools about LGBTQ history and culture and social justice. The history panels are utilized in high schools, universities, and several community organizations to bring visibility to LGBTQ stories through engaging text and images. Currently, in honor of Transgender Awareness Month and for the upcoming Transgender Day of Remembrance, we are pleased to unveil our Transgender History Panel series, which are displayed in the hallway. And they present a concise overview of the courageous individuals and critical events that encompass aspects of transgender history in the United States. So the exhibition makes visible the stories of those who boldly challenged gender conventions in the early 20th century, the history of healthcare for transgender people, the visibility and resources created by transgender heroes such as Sir Lady Java, Christine Jorgensen, and Reed Erickson, pre-Stonewall uprisings by gender-variant individuals, and the sacrifice and impact of Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera. The exhibition also includes information on the transgender resilient youth, redefining gender and representation, and transgender-led organizations that tirelessly advocate for transgender people in Los Angeles and the United States. We all know that the history of our community runs deep. these panels provide just a snapshot of transgender history. We look forward to continuing to expand this series as the panels help educate and spread awareness about the struggles and successes of transgender individuals. We are so grateful for the dozens of individuals and community partners who have helped with the development of these panels, including Karina Samala, Lindsay Deaton, Reverend Patty Dersham, Dr. Jay Johnson, and the City of West Hollywood Transgender Advisory Board. And of course, the team and the board of the One Archives Foundation, especially our History Panels Project intern, Nick Burr. Through his hard work and unwavering dedication to learning about transgender history, Nick has been tremendously helpful in crafting the materials displayed on the panels. He is here with us tonight to briefly talk about his experience in working with the panels. Nick Burr, everyone.
Hello, and thanks, Eric, for such a warm introduction. It's really great to see some familiar faces and some new friends here tonight. But just to reiterate what Jennifer and Eric have already said, thank you for recognizing the important work that the One Archives Foundation does to preserve and expand the diverse histories, arts, and culture of the LGBT community. And I just personally want to thank each of you for the leadership, advocacy, the activism, and the space that you make and live and breathe and do for the transgender community here in West Hollywood and throughout the LA area. It's been an immense honor and learning process working on the transgender history panels as an intern with the One Archives Foundation. I initially sought out this internship because I felt an intense need to connect with the histories of the LGBT community to help make sense of the progress and triumphs that transgender individuals have made and some of the present threats that transgender and LGBTQ people face. And I also just wanted to engage with the deep history of resistance and resiliency within the transgender community and participate in a project that would hopefully make me a better ally to transgender individuals. So when I started this project in late July, we had a bold objective, and that was to produce 15 to 20 educational panels documenting transgender history in the United States. Where does one even begin? And how do we present a comprehensive and concise overview of the individuals, activists, organizations, events, and movements that make up transgender history while also being acutely aware of the issues and developments facing transgender people today and the years to come? So Eric and I attempted to answer these questions and more over the past 3 to 4 months. So after developing a list of topics and events that broadly represented transgender history, I really enjoyed talking with transgender leaders and activists, such as Dr. Jay Johnson, Karina Samala, Shirley Bushnell, Reese Ernst, Lindsay Deaton, and several others, to see if we were on the right track and whether the topics were relevant. But these conversations really stuck with me because as the stories that each person shared, the clarifications that they offered, and the enthusiastic support that they gave not only emphasized the need to humanize the history that we were researching, but to help, and it just personally helped me understand that the history that we're presenting in the panels doesn't exist in some far distant past, but it's unfolding and it informs the justice that transgender people and allies are working towards today. So after conducting research within the repository held by the One Archives at the USC libraries, I'm proud that the transgender history panels amplify transgender history for the broader public, specifically the fact that these panels will be utilized in K through 12 classrooms and potentially introduce transgender students to transgender history for the first time brings me just a lot of joy. And I hope that these panels, wherever they may be displayed or featured, really help people understand the struggles and triumphs that characterize and are within the transgender community. So again, I would just like to thank the City of West Hollywood Transgender Advisory Board for recognizing the important work that the One Archives Foundation does, and just thank each of you again for everything that you do for the transgender community here and the LA area. Thank you.
Thank you.
If I could ask the board to come down. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to our next award recipient this evening. Drian, would you please introduce?
All right, I have the incredible honor of presenting the next award to an individual who was catapulted into the national landscape when our nation's twit sent out a tweet banning trans people from the military. This individual mobilized, made himself visible, came out, which is such a powerful thing for trans people to be vulnerable in that way. And on top of that, has a long history of helping trans people, especially the most vulnerable in our community, our youth, who are often struggling with housing and resources, to not only feel good about themselves, but to be empowered to live their authentic life, to live the life of their dreams. And that, for me, is what this individual inspires. Somebody who lives their dreams and shows others what living your truth is like. I am so honored to present the next award to Rudy Akbarian from the Los Angeles LGBT Center's Youth Services. Yes, please.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you all so much. I'm an extremely shy person, even though I was all over the news talking about 45's tweets. Yeah, right, tweets. The tweets, that's what you said. I just think it's so important for me to use my privilege to create a platform and to uplift the voices of those who are often silenced. And there are over 15,000 of us serving in the U.S. Army today, and I am so happy to say that after 5-6 years of fighting to have my gender changed, I just recently had it fully changed to male in the Army. Yeah, so that was a big thing. Yeah. So, yeah, thank you so much, Trion. Thank you for everything. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Don't leave.
Don't leave.
Okay, and to share a little bit about our third honoree, Leslie Frias.
Hi. Oh my God, this is an honor to me to introduce this next award. We cannot change yesterday. We can only make the most of today and look with hope and resolve toward tomorrow. Bienestar 20th anniversary, Transgender program 20 years anniversary. Bienestar missions promote the health and well-being of the community and other underserved communities that are less represented. Our commitment to serve and make an impactful difference is reflected in our research to identify communities' needs. Transactivate was the first study of HIV-positive transgender women of color. Through this study, more than 500 trans Latinas women initiating or re-engaged into medical care. Our work with the community helps to inform us how to best serve respond to the needs and mobilize to work together to address this effectively. For instance, we have published a report on the interaction of Latina women with law enforcement and happily report that our community is engaged in building a better relationship. Oscar de la O is one of the biggest visionaries in fighting for our community and giving us the space to empower and educate the trans-Latina community for more than 25 years. This is a moment to celebrate Bienestar and Oscar de la O legacy. The well-being of our community is in our hands. Keep working.
So Bienestar could not be here this evening.
For traffic problem, you know, it's a traffic time, and they are trying to cross the city from East LA to West Hollywood. They text me about they are really sorry to make it, and I really understand that. I want to say something by myself. I'm, as well, you know, I'm working for Bienestar for 8 years, and I feel thankful about this organization. They give me the opportunity to be an advocate and a great speaker for others. That's why the reason I'm double happy to honor Oscar de la O and Bienestar. And on those years, we are celebrating 20 years about transgender program. The name is TWO, or United in English. And this is one of the best programs in LA for a transgender Latina communities. I feel proud that I came from these programs.
I know we can entrust you to make sure that Oscar de la O gets that beautiful, beautiful award.
For sure, this is an award not only for him, not only for Bienestar, but of all Latina transgender women.
Thank you. So we do have a special presentation of awards tonight from Josh Krupes, representing Assemblyman Bloom.
If I could ask the award winners to come back down.
All of the honorees.
Good evening, Chair and members of the Advisory Board. My name is Josh Krupes. I'm the District Director for Assemblymember Richard Bloom, and I just wanted to come tonight on his behalf and say thank you for your work and for putting on this event and all the events that are going on this month. We look forward to being at the November 20th event as well. But I came here tonight to congratulate each of the honorees and provide each of them a certificate on behalf of the Assembly member. And so, with your permission, I'd like to give them to the honorees and
please
take
do.
a quick picture.
Yes, that'd be great.
Can I ask that you guys move your light for the photos? Thank you. Wait. Please get Leslie in for Bienestar. She's representing us. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
One more. Yay. Awesome.
If you guys could stay for 1 second, please. Mayor, I have one of our council members here that I'd like to introduce, and I'd also like to make sure that we get some photos with our award winners. Thank you.
Yay. Careful.
For a second.
I'm so sorry I'm late.
You're not late?
I was told that you weren't going to be starting until 6:45 on the awards, and you know that I love to be here. And what's interesting, I was thinking about this, is last year at this time, we had that horrible man who just got elected to office, and I was really trying to be hopeful. You know, I didn't want to be I didn't want to really say what I felt, which was just total depression and disbelief and you know, just how are we going to get through these you know, however long it's going to be. Hopefully it'll be shorter than 4 years. And I have to say, last night with the election, to have 4 transgender people elected to office was the most hope I have ever had, I think, in my whole life. It was so wonderful, and I don't know if you've already talked about them and said their names and you know, but Virginia House of Delegates, Danica Rome, Minneapolis City Council, Andrea Jenkins, Palm Springs City Council, Lisa Middleton, and Erie, Pennsylvania School Board, Tyler Titus. I mean, it's so wonderful and amazing, and all I can say is it gives me hope. It gives me hope for all of us. And it's doubly amazing. So I just want to thank all of you for everything you do. I want to congratulate all the winners tonight. And again, I'm so sorry I'm late, and I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so happy that it's just such a hopeful day. It's the day after, the hopeful day after.
California will be the next.
Thank you.
Items from staff.
No items from staff.
Okay, we do have one public comment from Amira Hassanbush. Hassanbush, please forgive me if I mispronounced your name.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Mira Hazenbush. I am coming both representing myself and the Let's Go Liberation, or LGL clinic at UCLA School of Law. The LGL clinic is a student-run clinic that does free name and gender changes. And we just had our first clinic last Sunday at the LGBT Center, and we're planning to do 2 more next semester. And so I just wanted to let you know that that's happening, and hopefully you guys can spread the word. And I also run my own private law practice. I do pro bono advising for the students in that clinic. I also have my own law practice that's private that also does name and gender changes and family formation with a focus on LGBT families. And so I wanted to let you all know about that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Items from the board members. Let's start with Lindsay.
Well, first of all, thank you all for this incredible evening. I'm so inspired. Thank you, One Archives. Thank you, Rudy, and thank you, Vienna Star. I'd also like to thank Matt Gill and the WeHo Library again for I Am Jazz. I'm very, very inspired and looking very much forward to that. Thank you very much, Councilmember Meister, for both your personal support and my appointment to this tab board, but for your support for this community. We are so grateful for your friendship, your allyship, and your love for us, and there's just not enough words to thank you so.
Karina?
I got one announcement here. Letter from David Glickman. They're having the second annual Transgender Shabbat on November 17th, Friday, at the congregation called Ami, and starts from 8 to 9:15. They're having services open to everyone. It begins at 8. I was invited to be one of the speakers, and there's going to be a Q&A included on the portion. Would be readings, special readings, participatory readings, some music, and traditional Jewish and Hebrew text throughout the services.
Thank
It
you.
will be on November 17th, Friday, from 8 to 9:15.
Erica?
Hi, I would like to thank to the City of West Hollywood for the great support that we are receiving. And Bonnie, thank you very much for your support. You are an amazing person, so we are so lucky to have you on the board.
Thank you.
And also, I would like to echo my college to thank everyone to be here for the winners. Thank you very much. You all deserve it. And just extend the invitation this November 20. Remember, we're going to have a Day of Remember. Hoping to see you, all of you there.
First, I'd like to thank all the community members in attendance. And then, I just wanted to thank again everyone who received an award tonight. It's truly, truly extraordinary work that you do for the community, and it's just an honor to be present and just give a small token of appreciation for all the work that you really do. I'd like to thank our council member in attendance and thank our staff for your never-ending support and work. I'd like to thank my fellow advisory board members. All of you are amazing, and it's an honor to serve with you. And finally, the City of West Hollywood. And that's it for me. Thanks.
Leslie?
I want to say thank you to everyone for attending and congratulations tonight to the People Get Awards. Tonight is a continuous celebration. For me, it's a big day, a big night. Thank you for share with us about the enthusiastic and see a people, transgender people really there in the place we are expecting for many times. And this is a great moment. We are celebrating Days of Remember sooner. I hopefully see you there. And thank you.
I'd like to congratulate all of the Transgender Advisory Board awardees this evening. Each of you have truly touched and moved and inspired a transgender community member. And as we move forward and weave together our narratives, we are truly at a watershed moment. I'd really like to echo and thank Councilmember Meister for her words of affirmation that that's where we're at here in our transgender community. And I'd just like to again state that this coming Saturday is the City of West Hollywood Veterans Day event where there will be transgender speakers. I'd like to thank the West Hollywood Library and the Women's Advisory Board for their sharing about I Am Jazz. And you can count me to assist you in any way that you need. And lastly, we have a fantastic reading of the names planned. Our goal is to have 60 participants, which is new and different for the board because we have a fabulous stage. Thank you so much, Bonnie, for finding the location for Transgender Day of Remembrance this year so that we have this fabulous stage and that we can engage more community members. Thank you.
I would just like to also congratulate all of you awardees today, and thank you to everyone for coming tonight. It's, for me, a time to reflect and to be grateful and to keep moving forward, and to also recognize that what we do here today is something that other trans people see, trans people who are in places where they don't have access to things like this. And so being proud, being visible is more important than ever. And all of you being here tonight, all of my fellow board members, I am so honored to be a part of such a powerful and amazing community. So thank you.
Thank you. I do want to highlight one thing about the Trans Day of Remembrance. On November 20th, we are in a new location. It is at the Center for Early Childhood Development. Please make a note that it will not be here like the years past. It will be at the Center for Childhood and Early Development at 563 North Alfred Street in West Hollywood, at the corner of Melrose, Alfred, and La Cienega. So in my members' comments, I just want to say thank you to all of the awardees tonight. Your work is endless. Community work is endless. And I recognize you and acknowledge you for what you do for our community. No hour that you put in goes unnoticed. So I thank you. I thank the City of West Hollywood for its undying support of this community. Never, ever has a government organization or political organization been so supportive of our transgender community like the City of West Hollywood. We are so fortunate to have a city council that stands by their word, that is committed to support its constituents, that is committed to go against the grain, to be the first city to ever deem the month of November Trans Awareness Month. No amount of gratitude that I could express here would be enough. So thank you. To my colleagues, it's always a privilege and an honor to serve with you. We can't do the work that we do without the commitment of our community. So to the community, thank you for being resilient. Thank you for being a stand for greatness, for exhibiting your beauty unapologetically. We say thank you because we get to do what we do because of you. And I just want to leave thanking one person who supports me endlessly, which is my wife, who was recently diagnosed with breast cancer and underwent surgery today successfully. So thank you for supporting me and loving me always. With that, my staff is gone, so I'm going to ask James to read the names that we will be adjourning in honor of.
Again, to close out 2016, these are the names of our transgender community members who died in the Oakland fire on December 2nd. Cash Askew, 22, M. Bohica, and Riley Fritz. Also on December 21st, 2016, Indira Monroe, a 29-year-old Black trans woman, was murdered. And this month, we've had 2 transgender deaths. Stephanie Montez, 47 years old, from Corpus Christi, Texas, and Candace Towns, a 30-year-old trans woman from Macon, Georgia. If I could ask for a moment of silence, Jay. Thank you, everyone.
We now adjourn this meeting at 6:54 p.m.
Great.
Oh.